They came for Earth, and we gave them just one chance to turn back. Part 1. The world changed on a Tuesday. It was a normal day until it wasn't. People went to work, children went to school, and life moved along as it always had. Then the sky filled with strange lights. Admiral William Carter was enjoying his morning coffee when the call came. He was a tall man with gray hair at his temples and eyes that had seen too much war. The ringing phone made him frown. Calls this early were, "Never good news, Carter," he answered. "Sir, you need to come in now," said the voice of his aide. Something big just appeared near the moon. Carter didn't waste time asking questions. He dressed quickly and was in his car 5 minutes later. As he drove to the military base, he noticed people on the streets pointing up at the sky. Some had phones out taking pictures. Others just stared, mouths open. When he arrived at the command center of the USS Defiant, Earth's largest space defense ship, screens showed what had everyone so worried. 17 massive vessels hung in space between Earth and the moon. They were unlike anything humans had built. Each one was shaped like a giant spike with rings around its middle. They glowed with a pale blue light. "What do we know?" Carter asked as he walked onto the bridge. Lieutenant Susan Moore turned from her screen. She was young but smart, with short brown hair and quick hands that moved over the controls with ease. "They just appeared, sir. No warning. Nothing on our radar until they were there. They're bigger than anything we've ever seen. The smallest one is about 3 miles long." Carter stared at the screen. "Have they made contact?" "No, sir. We've sent messages on all known frequencies. No response. How many people know about this?" "Everyone, sir. They're visible from Earth without telescopes. Social media is going crazy. The president will address the nation in 1 hour." Carter nodded. He had hoped for more time, but there was no hiding something this big. "Keep trying to contact them. I want all defense systems ready, but no one fires unless I give the order." In Washington, D.C., the United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting. Leaders from around the world joined by video call, their faces showing the same mix of fear and confusion. Dr. Alan Brooks rushed into the meeting room carrying a laptop and several books. He was not a military man. His whole life had been spent at universities, studying how aliens might communicate if humans ever met them. Now his theories were being put to the test. "Dr. Brooks," said the president, "tell us what you think. Are they here peacefully?" Brooks ran a hand through his messy hair. "I can't say for sure. The fact that they haven't attacked is a good sign, but they also haven't answered our messages, which is concerning." General Patricia Wilson, head of Earth Defense Forces, spoke up. "We should strike first. Show them we're strong." "No," Brooks said quickly. "That would be a terrible mistake. Their technology is clearly far beyond ours. If they wanted to attack, they would have done so already." The president looked between them. "We will not fire first, but we will be ready if they do." On the Defiant, Carter watched as small ships began to leave the alien vessels. They were round and flat like discs and moved faster than anything humans had built. "Where are they going?" he asked. Susan checked her screens. "They're heading toward our defense platforms in orbit." Earth had built 12 defense platforms that circled the planet. They were armed with missiles and energy weapons, designed to protect against asteroids or, though no one had really believed it would happen, alien attacks. "Warn the platforms. Tell them to track but not engage," Carter ordered. But before his message could reach them, 3 of the defense platforms exploded in bright flashes of light. The alien ships had fired some kind of energy beam without warning. "They've opened fire!" Susan shouted. Carter felt a cold weight in his stomach. This was now war. All ships defensive positions. Return fire on any alien vessel that approaches Earth's atmosphere. Across the planet, people watched the lights in the sky change. The peaceful blue glow of the alien ships turned to bright flashes as Earth's defenses engaged. In New York, crowds gathered in Times Square, watching on huge screens as news helicopters captured what footage they could from below. In Tokyo, people filled the streets, eyes turned upward. In London, Paris, and Moscow, it was the same. On the International Space Station, astronauts had the clearest view of all. They sent back video of the alien ships enormous against the blackness of space. "They're like nothing we've ever seen," reported Commander Joe Lewis. "Their ships seem to bend light around them, and they're fast, impossibly fast." Earth's military scrambled to respond. Fighter jets took off from bases around the world, though. Everyone knew they couldn't reach orbit where the battle was happening. Nuclear missiles were made ready, but politicians argued about using them. A nuclear explosion in space could affect satellites and the space station. In his university office, Dr. Brooks worked frantically with his team, trying every possible way to communicate with the aliens. They sent mathematical sequences, pictures, music, anything that might be understood across the gap between species. "Why aren't they talking to us?" asked his assistant, Linda Green. "They must have some way to communicate." "Maybe they don't see the need," Brooks said quietly. "Maybe to them, we're not worth talking to." That thought chilled everyone in the room. On the Defiant, Carter ordered his ship to move closer to the alien fleet. It was a risk, but they needed better information. "Sir," Susan said suddenly, "one of the alien ships is breaking formation. It's heading toward Earth." Carter watched the screen as one of the spike-shaped vessels moved away from the others. It was coming directly toward them. "All weapons lock on that ship," he ordered. "If it comes within firing range, take it down." But before they could act, more of the smaller disk ships launched from the alien vessel. Dozens of them, then hundreds, all heading toward Earth. The first invasion of Earth had begun. They came for Earth, and we gave them just one chance to turn back. Part 2. The alien ships fell toward Earth like rain. People around the world watched in fear as the sky filled with hundreds of disc-shaped craft. Military bases went on high. Alert. Fighters took off from runways. Missile systems locked onto targets. In the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Olivia Martinez worked in a secret underground lab. She was a small woman with fierce eyes and quick hands. Just hours ago, a team of soldiers had brought her something incredible, parts from a crashed alien scout ship. "What can you tell us?" asked the general who stood behind her. Olivia didn't look up from her work. "Their technology is like nothing I've ever seen. The metal isn't even metal as we understand it. It's some kind of grown material." She moved to another table where a device the size of a basketball sat under bright lights. It glowed with the same blue light as the alien ships. "This seems to be their power source. It generates energy in a way that breaks some of our understanding of physics." The general frowned. "That's interesting, Doctor. But what I need to know is how to stop them." Olivia finally looked up. "I'm working on that, but first we need to understand why they're here." In a bunker beneath the White House, world leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. Screens showed the battle in space. Earth's ships fought bravely, but they were being destroyed one by one. The president stood at the head of the table. "What do they want? Why attack us without even trying to talk?" Dr. Brooks, who had been studying the aliens' movements, spoke up. "I believe I know. Look at the pattern of their attacks." He pointed to a map showing where the alien ships were landing. "They're targeting our major mining operations, power plants, and water reserves. They're not after our cities or people, at least not primarily. They want our resources." "Like locusts," someone said quietly. "Exactly," Brooks nodded. "They may be a species that travels from planet to planet, taking what they need, then moving on." Outside the bunker, the world was in chaos. In major cities, people fled or sought shelter. Some prayed. Others looted stores for supplies. Military forces tried to maintain order while also preparing to fight an enemy they didn't understand. Jack Robinson led a team of Special Forces soldiers through the empty streets of Denver. He was a man built like a bull, with broad shoulders and a square jaw. His team moved carefully, weapons ready. "Command, this is Eagle Team," he said into his radio. "Downtown is clear of hostiles, but we've got a disk ship landed in City Park. Approach with caution," came the reply. "Observe only. Do not engage unless threatened." Jack signaled to his team, and they moved toward the park. From behind trees and buildings, They watched as strange figures moved around the alien craft. The beings were tall and thin, with 4 arms and skin that looked like polished stone. They wore no clothes or armor that the humans could see. "What are they doing?" whispered one of Jack's team. The aliens had devices that they pushed into the ground. After a moment, the grass around each device turned brown and died. "They're testing something," Jack said. "Taking samples, maybe." "Sir," another soldier pointed up. "More coming." 3 more disk ships descended toward the park. Jack knew they needed to report this. "Fall back," he ordered. "We need to—" One of the aliens turned suddenly, looking directly at them. It made a strange clicking sound, and the others turned too. "We've been spotted," Jack said. "Move!" His team ran as energy beams hit the ground around them. The concrete, where the beams struck, melted like butter. In space, the battle continued. Captain Laura Fisher commanded the Earth Defense Force ship Resilience. Her vessel was one of the few still fighting. "Status report," she called over the sound of alarms. "Shields at 20%, her officer replied. "Weapons at 40%. 3 more of our ships just went down." Laura looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was overwhelming Earth's defenses through sheer numbers and technology. They were losing badly. "New plan," she said. "Target? They're smaller ships. We can't hurt the big ones, but maybe we can stop some of these fighters." The Resilience turned and fired its main cannons at a group of alien fighters. 2 exploded in bright flashes. "It worked," someone cheered. "Keep firing," Laura ordered. "Every ship we stop is 1 less attacking Earth." Back in the mountain lab, Olivia made a breakthrough. She had connected the alien power device to a computer and was studying the data. "This is incredible," she said, eyes wide. Their entire civilization runs on technology that breaks down matter into energy. "What does that mean for us?" asked the general. "It means they're here to mine our planet. Not just for metals or water, but for everything. Their ships can convert entire chunks of a planet into energy and raw materials." The general's face went pale. "Are you saying they plan to eat our planet?" "Not exactly eat, but yes, consume it. Based on what I'm seeing in their navigation charts, they've done this to hundreds of worlds." She pointed to star maps she had extracted from the alien device. "Each of these marks is a planet they've harvested. They move through space like locusts, consuming everything in their path. Can we communicate with them? Make them understand we're an intelligent species?" Olivia studied more data. "That's the problem. Their biology is completely different from ours. They're silicon-based life forms, not carbon-based like us. They may not even recognize us as alive in the same way they are." In the bunker, the president received this information with a grim face. "So they see us as no different than the rocks and trees they plan to process," he said. "It appears so," Dr. Brooks confirmed. "To them, our buildings and technology might just look like unusual mineral formations. Then we need to show them we're more than that," the president said. "We need to make them understand that Earth will fight back." Around the world, human forces engaged the alien scouts wherever they landed. The battles were fierce and often one-sided, but occasionally humans won small victories. In Russia, tanks managed to destroy an alien disk by firing at it from multiple directions at once. In Brazil, fighter jets lured alien ships into a mountain range where hidden missile batteries waited. In Egypt, soldiers discovered that the aliens were vulnerable to high-frequency sound waves. Small victories, but not enough. The main alien ship still hung in orbit untouched by Earth's weapons. And more scout ships continued to land every hour. Humanity needed a bigger solution, and fast. They came for Earth, and we gave them just one chance to turn back. Part 3 deep beneath the Nevada desert, in a facility that did not exist on any map, Dr. Frank Delgado stood before his life's work. He was an old man with thick glasses and hands that shook slightly. Behind him, armed guards watched his every move. The room was large and round. In the center stood a strange device, a metal sphere about 6 feet wide, covered in wires and blinking lights. It pulsed with a soft blue glow that seemed to come from inside the metal itself. Project Thunderbolt, Delgado said to the small group of people who had just entered the room. Something I hoped would never need to be used. President Howard stepped forward. He was a tall man with a serious face and tired eyes. The past 3 days of alien invasion had aged him visibly. Explain it to me again, Doctor, the president said. In simple terms. Delgado nodded. It creates a bubble in space where the rules of physics change. Inside that bubble, complex technology stops working, circuits fail, energy weapons die, engines shut down. And it won't hurt people? No. Living things are not affected. Only technology. The president looked at the device with doubt in his eyes. And you're sure it will work on alien technology? No, Delgado admitted. I'm not. Sure, this was built to stop human weapons, but all technology follows the same basic rules of physics. If we change those rules, how big is the effect? We can control that. Make it small enough for just one ship, or large enough for their whole fleet. And the risks? Delgado took off his glasses and cleaned them slowly. Many. This has never been tested at full power. The effect could be larger than we want. It could last longer than we predict. At worst, the president prompted. At worst, the bubble could grow out of control, change the rules of physics in an ever-expanding area. Meaning? Meaning all technology on Earth could stop working. Permanently. The room was silent for a long moment. We need to try something else, said one of the generals. Nuclear weapons won't work, interrupted Dr. Martinez, who had flown in from her Rocky Mountain lab. Their ships absorb energy. A nuclear blast would just make them stronger. What about regular weapons? Tanks, missiles? Too slow, Martinez shook her head. And their armor is too strong. The president walked in a slow circle around the Thunderbolt device. How would we deliver this thing to their ships? We have a stealth ship, said General Wilson. Experimental. It might get close enough to their mothership. Might? It's the best chance we have. The president looked at each face in the room. How long until the aliens finish what they started? Martinez checked her tablet. At their current rate of resource extraction, major damage to Earth's crust will begin in about 12 hours. Within 48 hours, the damage becomes irreversible. And what happens then? Then they break our planet apart, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but an asteroid field. The president closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his decision was made. Prepare the Thunderbolt, and get me volunteers for the delivery mission. Commander Samantha Kelly walked through the underground hangar toward the sleek black ship waiting there. She was a tall woman with dark skin and short hair. Her face showed no fear, though her mission was nearly impossible. Behind her walked her team, pilot Ryan Garcia, a young man with quick hands and quicker reflexes, engineer Kevin Adams, who knew the stealth ship systems better than anyone, and specialist Diana Wright, an expert in alien biology. Final briefing, Kelly said as they reached the ship. We fly up through the atmosphere using the stealth systems. The ship should be invisible to their sensors. We dock with the alien mothership at this point. She showed them a diagram on her tablet. Once inside, we move to their central chamber. Here, plant the Thunderbolt device, set the timer for 10 minutes, then we get out before it activates. And if we meet aliens inside? Asked Garcia. Kelly patted the weapon at her hip. High-frequency sonic guns, Dr. Martinez says they should work. Should, Adams mumbled. This whole mission is a should, Kelly replied, but it's all we've got. They boarded the ship. It was cramped inside, barely room for the 4 of them, plus the Thunderbolt device, which sat secured in a special cradle. Garcia began the launch sequence. Stealth systems active, engine output masked. We're as invisible as we'll ever be. The hangar doors above them slid open, revealing a night sky filled with distant lights, the alien fleet. Let's go, Kelly ordered. The ship rose silently into the air. No rockets, no flame, just the quiet hum of advanced engines that barely disturbed the air around them. On screens inside the ship, they watched the world below. Cities dark to hide from alien scouts, forests burning where battles had been fought, and strange circular patterns where the aliens had begun extracting resources, leaving dead zones nothing would ever grow in again. Stay focused, Kelly reminded them all, and herself. As they left the atmosphere, the true scale of the alien fleet became clear. 17 massive ships, arranged in a pattern around Earth. The smallest was larger than anything humans had ever built. The largest, the mothership they were heading for, was the size of a small city. How can they even build something that big? Whispered Wright. They've had longer to practice, Adams replied. Maybe thousands of years longer. Garcia guided their small ship carefully through the debris of battle. Dead human ships and stations floated in orbit, along with the wrecks of a few smaller alien vessels. Almost to the mothership, Garcia reported. No sign they've detected us. The alien mothership grew larger on their screens. Up close, its surface wasn't smooth as it had appeared from Earth. It was covered in strange patterns and structures that seemed to move and shift as they watched. It's alive, Wright said suddenly. What? Kelly turned to her. The ship. It's partly alive. Look at the patterns. They're like circulation systems, blood vessels. Can it see us then? Garcia asked, hands tightening on the controls. I don't think so. Not in the way we understand sight, but it might sense us in other ways. Kelly checked the Thunderbolt device. It hummed softly, ready to activate when the time came. There, she pointed. That opening. Can you get us in there? Garcia nodded and adjusted their course. The small human ship slipped into an enormous bay in the side of the alien mothership. Inside was a cavernous space filled with the disc-shaped scout ships they had seen attacking Earth. Dock there between those two structures, Kelly ordered. Try not to touch anything. Garcia guided the ship to a landing on what appeared to be a flat surface. The engines shut down. Suit up, Kelly said. We don't know if we can breathe their air. They put on their helmets and checked their weapons one last time. Adams, Wright, you carry the device. Garcia and I will take point. Adams and Wright carefully removed the Thunderbolt from its cradle. It was heavy, requiring both of them to carry it. Remember, Kelly said. 10 minutes from activation to effect. We need to be well away by then. They opened the hatch of their ship and stepped into the alien mothership. Their first step toward either saving Earth or dying in the attempt. They came for Earth, and we gave them. Just one chance to turn back. Part 4. Inside the alien mothership, the air was thick and smelled like metal. Strange lights pulsed along the walls. The floor felt alive, shifting slightly under their feet as they walked. Stay together, Commander Kelly whispered. Move slow. The team crept through a wide tunnel. Adams and Wright struggled with the weight of the Thunderbolt device between them. The sphere hummed quietly, its blue glow partially covered by a black cloth. Which way? Garcia asked when they reached a junction where 3 tunnels met. Kelly checked a small device in her hand. The center of the ship should be this way. That's where we need to place the device for maximum effect. They moved into the middle tunnel. The ceiling grew higher and the walls pulsed with brighter light. Strange sounds echoed around them, clicks and hums that might have been machinery or might have been the aliens talking. I think we're approaching a main area, Wright said. The biology of the ship is changing. More nerve-like structures in the walls. They reached the end of the tunnel and found themselves at the edge of an enormous open space. It was like a cathedral stretching up and away farther than they could see. In the center floated a massive crystal structure that glowed with intense blue light. That must be their power core, Adams whispered. Around the crystal, dozens of the stone-skinned aliens moved on walkways. They had 4 arms and walked on 2 legs, their movements quick and precise. They seemed to be monitoring the crystal, adjusting things around it. Perfect, Kelly said. If we can place the Thunderbolt near that crystal, its effect will be amplified through their whole system. How do we get to it? Garcia asked. There's no cover. They'll see us. Kelly studied the room. There. She pointed to a lower level, where pipes and conduits ran toward the crystal. "We can follow those pipes, stay low." They climbed down to the lower level and began moving from pipe to pipe, staying hidden whenever possible. The aliens above didn't look down. Perhaps they had no reason to expect intruders in their ship. When they were halfway to the crystal, an alarm sound began. High-pitched and pulsing, it made the humans' teeth hurt. "Have they spotted us?" Adams asked, looking around frantically. "I don't think so," Wright said. "Look." On a giant screen above the crystal, images of Earth appeared. They showed alien ships landing in new areas. Other images showed large machines digging deep into the ground. "They're starting the major extraction," Wright said. "They're going to begin taking the planet apart." "We need to hurry," Kelly said. "Move faster." They rushed now, less concerned with stealth. When they reached the base of the crystal, they found a small space beneath the walkways where the thunderbolt could be hidden. "Here," Kelly ordered. "Set it down." Adams and Wright carefully placed the device on the floor. Adams began working on the controls. "How long until you can activate it?" Kelly asked. 2 minutes, Adams replied. "I need to calibrate it to their power frequency." Suddenly, Wright gasped. Above them, one of the aliens had stopped walking. It stood at the edge of the walkway, its 4 eyes looking straight at them. "It sees us," Garcia whispered, raising his weapon. The alien made a series of clicking sounds. Other aliens turned to look. "Hurry," Kelly told Adams. "Almost there," he replied, fingers moving quickly over the Thunderbolt's controls. The first alien began to climb down toward them. Others followed. "Garcia, Wright," Kelly ordered. "Hold them off." Garcia fired his sonic weapon. The high-frequency sound hit the lead alien, causing it to stumble and fall. Wright fired at the others, creating a barrier of sound that seemed to confuse them. 30 more seconds, Adams called. More aliens were coming now. Kelly joined the defense, firing her weapon at any that got too close. "They're adapting," Wright shouted as the aliens began to move through the sonic barrier, their bodies somehow changing to resist the effect. "Done," Adams announced. "Timer set for 10 minutes. The thunderbolt began to pulse more quickly, its blue glow turning slightly purple. "Move," Kelly ordered. "Back to the ship." They turned to run back the way they had come, but found their path blocked. Aliens had circled around behind them. "Other way." Kelly pointed to a different tunnel. "Go." They ran, the aliens close behind. Garcia led the way, with Wright and Adams in the middle. Kelly brought up the rear, firing backward to slow their pursuers. The new tunnel twisted and turned. They had no idea where it led, only that it was away from the aliens. "How much time?" Kelly asked as they ran. Adams checked a counter on his wrist. 8 minutes until Thunderbolt activates. "We need to find our way back to the ship," Kelly said. They turned a corner and found themselves in a large room filled with strange machines. Tables held tools and devices. In tanks along the walls, strange creatures floated in liquid. "It's a lab," Wright said, looking around in amazement. "They're studying Earth life." "No time," Kelly urged them forward. "Through there." They crossed the lab and entered another tunnel. This one sloped downward. "I think we're heading toward the outer edge of the ship," Garcia said. "That's good." Behind them, the alien pursuit had grown quieter. Perhaps they had lost their trackers. 6 minutes, Adams reported. The tunnel ended at a large door. Garcia pushed a panel beside it, and the door slid open. Beyond was a platform overlooking the same bay where they had landed their ship. There, Kelly pointed, their small black ship sat where they had left it. "We can make it." As they started toward a ladder that would take them down to the bay floor, a loud hiss came from behind them. They turned to see 5 aliens entering the platform area. These were different, larger, with armor covering their stone skin and weapons in their hands. "Run!" Kelly shouted. Energy beams hit the platform around them as they ran. Part of the floor melted away under the intense heat. Wright cried out in pain as a beam grazed her leg. She stumbled and fell. "Wright!" Kelly turned back. "Go!" Wright shouted, pulling herself up against a wall. "I'll hold them off. Get to the ship." "We're not leaving you." Kelly insisted. 4 minutes, Adams called out. We won't all make it at this rate. Wright pulled out her weapon. I'll keep them busy. Make it count. Kelly hesitated, then nodded. We'll send help. Just save the planet. Wright replied with a smile. That's enough. Kelly, Garcia, and Adams continued down the ladder as Wright opened fire on the aliens. Her sonic weapon pushed them back temporarily, but they kept coming. 3 minutes, Adams said as they reached their ship. Garcia rushed to the controls and started the engines. Come on, he muttered as the systems came online. Kelly stayed at the door, watching the platform above. Wright was still firing, but the aliens were closing in. We have to go, Adams said gently, putting a hand on Kelly's shoulder. She nodded and closed the door. The ship lifted off the floor of the bay. 2 minutes, Adams reported. Garcia guided the ship out of the bay and into open space. The mothership loomed behind them, massive and terrible. Get us a safe distance away, Kelly ordered, but keep the ship in view. I want to see if this works. 1 minute, Adams said. The small human ship raced away from the alien mothership, pushing its engines to their limit. What if it doesn't work? Garcia asked the question they were all thinking. Then we tried, Kelly answered. And Earth gets 1 more day to find another solution. 30 seconds, Adams said. They watched the mothership through their view screen. It hung in space, unchanged, powerful beyond anything humans had built. 10 seconds, Adams counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the blue glow of the mothership began to flicker. It's working, Kelly whispered. They came for Earth, and we gave them just 1 chance to turn back. Part 5. The alien mothership flickered like a dying light bulb. Its blue glow faded, then returned, then faded again. Other ships in the alien fleet began to flicker too, as if connected by invisible strings to their leader. It's working, Kelly whispered again, watching from the small human ship. The Thunderbolt is changing the physics inside their fleet. Look at that, Garcia pointed. The alien ships were drifting. Their perfect formation was breaking apart, as their engines failed. How long will the effect last? Kelly asked. Adams checked his instruments. 30 minutes, according to Dr. Delgado's calculations, maybe less. Then we need to make those minutes count. Kelly opened a communication channel. This is Commander Kelly to Earth Defense Command. The Thunderbolt is working. The alien fleet is disabled. You have about 30 minutes to hit them with everything we've got. On Earth, Admiral Carter received the message with disbelief. They did it, he said to the bridge crew of the Defiant. They actually did it. Around him, people cheered. It was the first good news in days of fighting. Send the order, Carter commanded. All remaining ships and weapons platforms target the alien fleet. Priority on their largest vessels. Fire everything. Across Earth's orbit, the few surviving human ships changed course. Weapons platforms that had been hiding powered up. Missile silos on the planet's surface opened their doors. For Earth, Carter said quietly as the first missiles launched. President Howard watched from the bunker under the White House. On screens around him, the battle unfolded. Human weapons streaked toward the disabled alien ships. Will it be enough? He asked Dr. Brooks, who stood beside him. Their armor is still strong, Brooks replied. But without their energy shields and evasive systems, we have a chance. The president nodded. And what about the team who delivered the Thunderbolt? Commander Kelly and her people? No word yet. They're still out there. In space, Kelly's ship hung at a safe distance, watching as Earth's counterattack began. Missiles exploded against the hulls of alien ships. Energy weapons from the few surviving. Human vessels cut into the disabled fleet. It's not enough, Garcia said after several minutes. We're hurting them, but not stopping them. He was right. Despite the barrage, the alien ships remained largely intact. Their outer layers were damaged, but the main structures held. The Thunderbolt effect won't last much longer, Adams warned. 10 minutes at most. Kelly made a decision. Take us back to the mothership. What? Garcia turned to her in shock. We still have weapons, and I have an idea. She pointed to an area on the mothership that had been damaged by Earth's attack. There, that's a weak point now. If we can get inside again and reach their power core, we might be able to overload it. That's suicide, Adams said. Probably, Kelly admitted. But if we don't stop them now, Earth is finished, and Wright's sacrifice will have been for nothing. Garcia and Adams looked at each other. Then Garcia turned back to the controls. Setting course for the mothership, their small ship raced back toward the giant alien vessel. Through the damage in its hull, they could see inside to corridors and chambers. There, Kelly pointed. Can you get us in through that breach? Garcia guided the ship carefully into the gap. Metal screeched against metal as they squeezed through. The damaged hull. We're in, he reported. But the ship is huge. How do we find the core from here? Follow the power conduits, Kelly said, pointing to glowing lines that ran along the walls. They'll lead to the center. They landed in a damaged section of the ship. The air was thin but breathable. They left their ship and began to move through, the corridors following the glowing lines. Around them, the alien ship was in chaos. Systems failed and restarted as the Thunderbolt's effect fluctuated. The few aliens they saw seemed confused, moving erratically or not moving at all. The Thunderbolt is affecting them too, Adams realized. Their bodies must be partly mechanical. They reached a familiar area, the cathedral-like space with the crystal power core. It still floated in the center, but its glow was weaker now, flickering like the rest of the ship. What's your plan? Adams asked as they took cover behind a fallen piece of equipment. Kelly pointed to the base of the crystal. The Thunderbolt disrupted their systems but didn't destroy them. If we can plant explosives at the core's support points, we might be able to create a chain reaction. We have some charges left, Garcia said, checking their equipment. Might be enough. 5 minutes until the Thunderbolt effect ends, Adams warned. They moved quickly across the open floor. The few aliens still functioning were too busy trying to repair systems to notice them. When they reached the crystal's base, they placed their explosive charges carefully at key points. 2 minutes, Adams said. Set the timer for 1 minute, Kelly ordered. That gives us just enough time to get back to the ship. Garcia set the timer. Ready? Now we run, Kelly said. They turned back toward where they had left their ship, but found their path blocked. A group of aliens had entered the chamber. These moved with purpose, their forearms carrying weapons. They're adapting, Adams said. Overcoming the Thunderbolt effect. Find another way, Kelly ordered. They ran in a different direction, ducking behind equipment as energy beams hit around them. They found a small maintenance tunnel and crawled inside. 1 minute until our charges blow, Garcia said, checking. The timer on his wrist. They crawled faster. The tunnel led down and away from the core room. 30 seconds, Garcia reported. The tunnel ended at a small platform overlooking a vast hangar, different from the one where they had first entered. This one was filled with what looked like escape pods. Perfect, Kelly said. We can use one of those to get away. They climbed down to the hangar floor and ran toward the nearest pod. Behind them, the first explosion rocked the ship. The floor shook beneath their feet. That's our charges, Garcia said. Let's hope they do the job. They reached an escape pod, a small oval craft with simple controls. Adams examined them quickly. I think I can fly this. It's basic. More explosions echoed through the ship, bigger this time. The chain reaction had begun. They climbed into the pod. Adams worked the controls, and the pod's door sealed shut. With a hiss of air, it launched from the mothership. Through a small window, they watched as the alien vessel began to break apart. The crystal core shattered, releasing a wave of energy that tore through the ship. Other alien ships in the fleet were affected too. As the mothership died, they seemed to lose direction. Some drifted into each other. Others turned away from Earth. They're connected somehow, Kelly said. Kill the leader, kill the fleet. From Earth, Admiral Carter watched in amazement as the alien mothership exploded in a brilliant flash of light. One by one, other ships in the fleet began to turn away. They're retreating, someone shouted. The aliens are retreating. Carter couldn't believe it. Track them. Make sure they're really leaving. One alien ship remained behind as the others jumped to faster-than-light travel. It was damaged, but functional. It broadcast a message that was received by every communication device on Earth. Dr. Brooks worked quickly to translate it. "It's simple," he told the president. "Just 3 concepts repeated. You live, we understand. We go." The president looked at the images of the departing alien fleet. They didn't know we were intelligent. Now they do. And they decided we weren't worth the fight, Brooks added. In space, Kelly's stolen escape pod was picked up by a human rescue ship. As she stepped aboard with Garcia and Adams, the crew cheered. "You did it," the captain told them. "You saved Earth." Kelly shook her head. "We all did. And right, she made it possible." 3 days later, Admiral Carter stood at a window on the lunar base looking out at Earth. The blue planet hung in space, beautiful and whole. Beside him stood the president. "Will they come back?" the president asked. "Maybe," Carter replied. "But next time we'll be more ready." "And they know we fight back," the president added. In the vastness of space, the damaged alien scout ship rejoined its fleet. It carried new information about the small blue planet they had tried to harvest. It told of beings who fought with unexpected determination, beings who were willing to sacrifice themselves for their world, beings who had managed to defeat a force far greater than themselves. The alien commander decided there were easier worlds to harvest. The fleet changed course, heading away from Earth and into the darkness between stars. They had come for Earth. Earth had given them one chance to turn back, and in the end they had taken it.